Well, hello there, and welcome to the second floor of the mansion. As promised, it is time to go ahead and show you how to complete the rest of the Halloween event. There are 2 more challenges that await us after the boss. In order to get up here, simply take the stairs right behind the boss area in order to get up here. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and meet our first challenger. Our first quest is to beat the Steeple of Cosmic Terror, which is a mid-high intense difficulty steeple. This steeple is super annoying to get used to. It's essentially SoCT 2, Electric Boogaloo, but it's actually executed well. Instead of rising lava, you have some ghosts who are constantly chasing you, meaning you just had to never stop moving. So if we fall, it's not game over at all. The steeple in the end was super satisfying to complete after learning it, and I really had a blast with it. It's definitely the best steeple of the event. However, there is a problem. The design decoration does get in the way, and sometimes does cause you to fall. Because with certain parts sticking out, you can get pushed back and off blocks, which can get annoying. It's only somewhat creative as most of the gameplay is just simple wraps, but it has a cool 2D part which is creative. And let's not forget about the ghosts themselves. This steeple is definitely Halloween themed. It's actually based off the old 2018 Halloween event style at the start, which is cool. Overall, this steeple sucks to learn, but super fun in the end. Here right in the beginning, you can get on top of this dead tree and then jump on top of this in order to skip the very beginning. Grab this key right here in order to open the cemetery. You may notice that the chase theme is already going. That's because once you get to the chase part for the first time, it never goes back to the original song for floor 1. No idea why. Make sure to hit this button in order to start the chase. You must hit this button in order to complete the steeple. Here you see the run prompt, and here is where you are met with your friend. If you stop for any reason, this ghost will get on top of you and deal a ton of damage, so you must not stop at all. I do not recommend doing this trust skip right here. Failing it will get the ghost to go on top of you and deal a ton of damage, so just go to the left and flick off. Be careful that you don't hit your head on the second spinner. Get nice big and angular flicks so you don't hit the little part of the design that's sticking out. This part right here is also ice, so be careful. Get on top of these lampposts. And be very careful with this part. It's very easy to get flung backwards. It's kind of a coin flip at first, but it's pretty easy to get used to. Welcome to floor 3. You must do 2 mini challenges in order to access the next part. Make sure your character is straight as possible so you don't fall through the gaps. When grabbing this key, you will now have a second ghost friend following you, so be a little careful. For this part, I do 2 nice big flicks for the sake of speed. Here you will grab another key, which will spawn a 3rd ghost. Here, you will be introduced to the 2D part of the steeple. For this first part, make sure you go further to the right so you're able to climb up. When you get this button, jump over each of the 3 ghosts. This will be useful later. This conveyor part is very wonky at first. When you have to change directions, you might have to do an extra jump, which is fine. Just be careful of the ghosts. If you ever need to heal up, just simply walk on this bottom part and jump over the ghosts. Simple as that. Welcome to the spinner part. This is a very weird way in order for me to dodge the ghost, but it works. Make sure you're very careful on the second spinner, as you might be able to touch the ghost below you and he will deal some damage. This is not marked very well and is hard to see on camera. Get to the top of the spinner and jump and hold S and W in order to do a head hitter jump. Welcome to floor 4. Fortunately, you won't need to do that spinner part again, as there's now a star that you can hit in order to go ahead and skip it. Here's an example. Floor 4 is very confusing and hard to get used to. First, hit this first conveyor and then jump and hit to the side. Jump early in order to get into here and be able to hit the button. This spinner was the bane of my existence. Stay on the sides and move around in order for you to be able to get on the spinner. This part is extremely frustrating. Here, make sure to do these jumps very quickly as the ghosts are on your tail and you likely have extremely low health. Be careful of the holes in the spinner and hit the star to floor 5. Here, the 3 ghosts go away, but when you hit this button, you now have a new ghost that does way more damage, so you have to be very quick. The beginning of this is just some simple wraparounds. Nothing to really see here. Make sure to take into account you hitting your head here. Grab this morpher and run behind you. Grab the second morpher. You'll never need to hit the first one again. Make sure you get on the spinner without hitting the ghost. Be careful in this part that you don't clip inside the blocks, because if you do, you'll likely get pushed off. Here, if you just tap W, the ghost will more than likely not be able to touch you. I never had a problem with him touching me here. Then you have some basic jumps. Here, you're supposed to wrap around them when you get the key, but here, as you can see, I got extremely lucky. Open the door, and then you pretty much beat the steeple from here. Go a little lower than you think and hit your head on the star. Don't fail this final jump. And then, your pain is finally over. You will be flung to the wind pad, and you will be able to celebrate knowing that you've gotten the second item of the Halloween event. Welcome to the final thing standing between you and completing the event. It's Citadel of Horrifying Phobias. This Citadel is extremely difficult. In my opinion, it's a mid-remorseless difficulty. The Citadel is sometimes forgiving, and sometimes screams the F word at you. If you haven't decided to beat the Citadel, or you want to complete it, you must do so fast. The event is ending either Thanksgiving break or Thanksgiving, so you have about a week as the publication of this video. However, onto the Citadel itself. It's a very good Citadel in my opinion. It's a very learny Citadel that sucks to learn and has its moments. Its design is good, but some parts like the first boss fight look really empty and bland, as well as some wedge use that makes the gameplay more atrocious. There really isn't anything mind-blowingly creative. It's mainly with the design and the bosses. Honestly, I don't really get a Halloween vibe from this Citadel. However, this is a really solid Citadel, and is definitely a favorite of mine. The first thing you'll notice is some pretty bad lag when you enter the Citadel. This is because it is loading a bunch of client objects. You simply just need to be a little bit patient. I simply sit right on this one still gap until the Citadel is done pitching its fit. Once you hit the button, head into this hole. Hold space once you get close, try to tilt your character to press the button. Climb up this truss and tilt to the right. And then you're in the Citadel itself. If you fall in this section, it will result in a teleport back. The walls are now slowly closing onto you, so you need to finish this part as quick as you can. Welcome to floor 2, where you are introduced to the lore of the Citadel. Falling here will send you back to floor 1. Floor 2 is very learning and frustrating at first, specifically these roped platforms. You want these to be tilted at an angle so you're able to land a jump as far as possible. Be careful, this spinner is can't collide true. Wait for it to go by you before doing any moves. Here you have to hit this button, then cross to the other side. Here I just honestly ignore the kill bricks. They're nothing to really worry about. Right here you have a shover platform. As soon as you see the shover platform come back to you, go ahead and traverse this path. Fall down onto this first part, then jump up, and do a wraparound down. Then you will get on top of this house where you're able to go ahead and grab a crowbar. Once you have this crowbar, go ahead and jump back up, head back to the little area, and you'll be sent into the next part. This part's really easy, just follow my actions here. Here you get a little dialogue box telling it that the key apparently feels very weird. This is a very important key, because if you head back up to the locked door we saw earlier, you'll be introduced to something a little nice. Here you are given a trail mix. There are 3 items throughout the Citadel that you can grab, that you can use throughout the Citadel itself. This is extremely helpful, and you don't even need to have obtained these items, like you don't need the trail mix game pass in order to use it. These are here for everybody, and will be very useful throughout the Citadel. Don't trust anything that is purple. Make sure to go ahead and go down the right side of the path and not down the tunnel. Go on the left path here. Once you do that, a new area has been unlocked. You must now walk back to the start of the floor. If you fall down into the hands though, you will have to do this part all over again. Remember that you have your trail mix here. In this next room, each of these boxes are color-coded, which do separate things. The wall tells you that the purple parts are checkpoints. They're not. They're teleporters. Make sure to stay on these falling platform tower jumps for a little over a second so that they're way easier to execute. As soon as this hand goes away, pull the long jump, get on the second brick, wait for the hand to go back down, and cross to the other side. Make sure you jump onto this early, and land off of it late. Wait for the hand to go by, then cross to the other side. Walk to the right side, and as soon as the hand on the other side is gone, you are able to drop down onto floor 4. This floor is really bad to get used to. In this first part, wait for the kill brick wall to go past the second wall, then proceed. Be careful, there's these spinning kill bricks that are trying to bop you off. Here, you want to be wedged into the corner a little bit so you can make the very long jump. Wait for this wall to clear, and then proceed to do a momentum jump. you want to make sure you get on these platforms early. And then be careful. You need to hit this button and immediately get back on the platform. If you don't, you will fall. If you need to heal, the center part is completely abolished of kill bricks, so feel free to heal in the middle if you need to. Once these are in place, press the button and cross to the other side. Get off quickly onto the spinner, and be careful with this dismount. It's a little tricky. Be careful with these spinning platforms. They're a little bit difficult at first. Get on the platform as soon as you see it, and jump to the top. Don't go to the next floor when you hit this button. Instead, fall down and do a little bit of backtracking. Right here, you are able to get the crystal, which is the second item of the Citadel. For those of you who don't know what the crystal does, it is a very overpowered healing item that will send your health to 100% immediately, pretty much. However, it's a one-time use, so use it well. Once you successfully backtrack, fall into the grave and you're sent to floor 5. If you didn't realize, the person that the narrator is referring to is actually the Radiant Guardian. This floor is actually not that bad, and it's pretty simple. This floor just has some very straightforward jumps, and that's pretty much it. Once you go inside here, make sure to press the button, and prepare for this creepy sequence. In case if you're wondering, if you fall here, you'll have 12 seconds to get back to the ladder. If you don't, the bottom platform will turn into an ouch brick. So make sure if you fall, get back to the ladder very quickly. But soon enough, you should make it to floor 6. This floor might be laggy for some, so be careful. Here you'll see some particles on some blocks. That is where lightning spawns. If you fall, it is usually very simple to backtrack back onto the trusses. Simply just sit and be patient, and you'll be able to go through this floor with little to no issues. When you get to certain parts of this floor, you might have some lag. This is because the lightning needs to reload in, so be aware of that. It might take you a little bit to get used to the locations in which you might lag. In this final part, make sure to do some big swooping wraps. You might hit the corner hitboxes of the wedges, and trust me, you'll get a little angry. Nonetheless, welcome to floor 7. This part is nothing to worry about. Just simply when you see the saws, go ahead and activate your trail mix, and you'll be through here no problem. These corner wedges will get a little infuriating with you, though. Make sure you stay in first person and aim where you want to go. Once you get into here, make sure you're nearly at full health before attempting this spinner, just in case if you fall. Go ahead and just simply dodge all these different things in your way, and you'll be through to the next part of the floor. Here, you have no jump, and you have to avoid these saws, so be careful. Don't worry about this push box at all, just simply push right through. And then it's simply straightforward up to floor 8. You have 3 minutes to complete this floor. If you don't, some insects will rise up and try to kill you. If you mess up, simply head over to the manhole in one of the corners. This floor, however, fortunately, isn't too difficult. It just requires a little bit of memorization. Make sure you sit a little bit before this swinging kill brick thing, and then jump onto it once. Once you jump up here, you'll see a little cauldron, which you can get your speed back. Stay on this left tightrope for a while, jump over the spiders, and when you get close to the webs, transition to the 4th one. Once you hit this button, you'll be able to go to the next area. Please note if you do have to go in the manhole, this button will be deactivated. Here, once you get into the speed area, just simply jump down, do a high jump up, and then do this simple little area to get back. Simply follow me through this maze. Once you get through, you'll have some simple jumps to do. Make sure you land only on the lit up lights. Fall down, and wait for the spinners to arrive, and you'll be done with this floor. Welcome to floor 9 outside. If you fall here, your run is over. You will be instantly killed. This floor is simply just trial and error. You will fail here a lot, and there isn't really much to help you. The first section of the outside is just some pretty simple jumps. There's really only one jump that you really have to worry about here. Be careful of this wedge wrap. Simply just face it and do a 180. Congratulations! You've now reached the second part of this outside. This, fortunately, I can give you a little more tips with. Don't worry about this timer. The timer is the last thing you need to worry about here. Be careful of these shoving platforms. They're very easy to end your run. Wait for this spinner to go by. And when you go into this button, make sure your push box is tilted. This is so you can get back into it and easily continue pushing it. Here's another shoving platform. Be careful. And don't worry about that timer. Push just a little bit over. And jump up. Here you have some elevators. Make sure you don't touch these spinners though. Another shover. Take your time. Only hit these top level spinners here. Once you do that, continue heading up. And when you reach this top section, you no longer have any jump power. Simply take it slow. I have no idea what happens if you touch these hands. I'm not willing to find out though. Remember, you still don't have any jump power. Once you get onto these conveyors, you have little to no walk speed, so you simply want to remain in first person and just jump around. Congratulations! You have completed Floor 9 Outside, which is the most infamous part of this Citadel. Good job! Unfortunately though, you're not even close to completing it. Here you are greeted with somebody that is ready to reveal themselves. Anybody who's played JTO last year knows exactly who this is. Or if you don't, simply head up the cylinders, head up the ladder, and wish yourself luck. Meet Dark Laws. This was the person you fought in Christmas 2019. He is back and ready to try and kill you again. Dark Laws is infamous for being the worst boss fight of all time. He starts off with his turret attack, which is very easy. Just simply jump over these turrets and you've got nothing to worry about. Next up, you have these Can Collide True Spinners. Only when these are activated do you have to worry about them. When the magnet men assemble, simply just head under this little duct here and you'll be completely fine. This part is a little RNG. These pumpkins are going to fall down, and here in a second, the spinners are going to come back to Can Collide True. So these pumpkins and yourself are going to get flung around, so be very careful throughout this part. Head over to the right side of the arena, where you will be greeted with your next challenge of this boss fight. Be careful, now you need to worry about these spinners. They are now stuck on Can Collide True. As you can see, I've almost gotten screwed by these spinners multiple times during this run. Simply just traverse the obby and press the button. If you got up here fast enough, you are able to just continue with these walls. If not, you'll have to deal with a magnet men attack up here. Simply just stay behind the wall and you can't be damaged. When you get to the end, press this final button, head in the teleporter, and you can't rest yet. The lava below you is rising, and if you fall here, you're instantly dead. So be very careful. You need to press all three of the buttons on these pillars in order to move on. If you haven't figured it out already, this is supposed to be a mimic of the Halloween 2018 lobby. If you've gone left to right and completed the third button, you will now go to where the Slamo boss fight was. Get on these transparent platforms and head into the portal. If you fall into here, it'll teleport you back to the Halloween 2018 section. This jump is very high, so be careful. And this part's really simple. Just push the push box along the track. The transition between the two spinners has gotten me before. It's a little wonky, it might take you a little bit to get used to. When you reach the top here, simply just jump down and press the button. Now you're in the Halloween 2019 lobby. You'll need to collect 3 keys to continue. If you ever have time when you get here, make sure to read the graves. They throw some massive shade on some people that's really funny. The last key I collect is in this house over here. Right by the key is our third item, the grass. This is another healing item. This will be extremely helpful during the totem boss. Now you will simply fall down here. If you fall during this section though, don't worry, it will teleport you back to the section we were just at earlier. Do a climbing animation jump to the other side, and traverse over to the portal, where you will meet your final foe. For those of you who don't know, the Halloween boss last year was known as the Totem. If you're a veteran player and you didn't like the Totem, I'm sorry. The Totem is now back, and it's even worse than before. Here you'll see the nameless fragment calling out to Dark Laws for mercy. But unfortunately, Dark Laws has none of it. Take a breather here, because you're going to need it. Once you are ready, head down into the hole and prepare for a very long final battle. You are allowed to fall into the lava below you 4 times. Once you fall in the 5th time, you're dead. Be conscious of your health though, because if you lose all of it, you're also dead. You will need to do 10 different obbies and 10 different challenges. For this first one, you'll be sent back into the claustrophobia floor for a little bit of a different reenactment of it. Depending on where you fail in certain challenges, you'll be able to head back to them, or you'll be sent back to the totem itself. Doing so will not make you lose a life. Once you complete the first challenge, you will need to head back and do this very risky high jump, which honestly isn't too bad. Head into the red teleporter, and you'll be sent to the second part of the boss fight. You don't need to worry about the totem itself yet with its attacks, but you will later, so be careful. The red floor is simply very easy, and there isn't anything you need to worry about. Just like that, one simple mistake, and I've lost one of my attempts. You need to be very careful. Every single jump you do needs to be carefully thought out. As soon as you see the wall go by, jump onto the first spinner, then the second one, and do the same thing, but vice versa. Head into the grave, and now hug the left side. If you don't, you're gonna get really hurt. I've heard a couple people who have died there before. Tilt your character to the side to walk over the gap. Do this final jump, and you're completed with the second challenge. A tip of mine I have is, if you can, fall down to the previous levels when you need to backtrack. Those obbies are typically easier to do. Welcome to the third level. You still don't need to worry about the totem yet. This is the last floor though. That is very easy. It only gets a little trickier from here. It's back to this part of the Citadel again. When you get on this first spinner, make sure you go in the first person so it's way easier to aim this second platform. Once you get to this part, realign yourself and the camera and continue through this part. Hug the left side as much as you can because that conveyor is very fast. Congratulations, you have passed the third challenge. This one, unfortunately, you have nothing below you, so you have nothing to do but to go back. Be careful of these very fast spinning walls. If you try to do the wraparound, the wall is there, well, you're in the lava. Beware of these falling platforms. This is the first challenge that I say is pretty difficult. It's this floor again. Remember though, you have 2 different healing items. Use them to your advantage. Head over to the opposite side and activate the Morpher. You'll have no choice but to hit the kill brick wall the first time, but if you hug this center part, you'll be able to mostly dodge the second one. For this next part, you need to keep your distance very far away from the kill brick. Make sure you be very careful traversing this section. Once you get on this kill brick, make sure you get on the spinner as quick as you can, and then transition into one of these 1-studs. Do this tightrope quick so that the kill brick wall behind you doesn't hurt you. Be careful of these falling platforms, and then you'll need to head into the kill brick wall, where you'll do a long jump, and then bail out. Be careful when you hit this button, it will completely freeze that floor of the totem. So you might get unlucky, and a laser might be right in your way. Please keep this in mind when you're attempting. Now we make it to the 5th part, which has a whole bunch of falling platforms. Simply just traverse around the walls, and it'll be a lot easier from there. Now is when I highly recommend you keep a watch of your health. These turrets can hit you, and they will really hurt. Once you head up, be careful of the trap. Watch your head, and head on the truss. Jump on top, and head to the next section. This is that sewer floor again. If you fall, you have 4 seconds to get back to the middle. If you don't, I believe it just simply teleports you back. This time, there's an addition of a conveyor, so be careful. And other than that, this floor is pretty self-explanatory. Here, I try to be safe and fall down below. You don't need to worry about when you attempt this, because you'll simply be able to just teleport yourself right back up. Welcome to the 6th challenge. You have another one of these spinning walls, so as soon as you see it go by, continue through. Make sure now you have a close eye on your health bar. You have some more falling platforms, so be careful. Jump down here, and you'll be able to get hit by the laser, so be careful. Oops! It seems like I accidentally underestimated how high that head hitter was, and I lost yet another attempt. Make sure you're very careful. Yeah, I got unlucky here. There's been a glitch lately where the pumpkin launchers don't work fully correctly, and it went down and hit the falling platform, so I unfortunately had no choice but to fall down, and now I only have one mess up left. This time, to be safe, I'm going to skip that falling platform, and I'm going to go ahead and bail into the challenge. Welcome to the lightning floor. Walk up to near the platform and sit for a little bit to make sure the lightning doesn't go off twice. Be careful, because this one is even laggier than the previous one. As soon as you see the lightning go off, and you think it's not going to head off again, immediately run and try to get to the first checkpoint, which is right here. As soon as the lightning goes off, continue on to the next checkpoint, which is simply just right here. This next one's a little far and a little tricky, so be careful. Make sure you're chilling out right at the edge, and as soon as you see the lightning from the other side go off, go ahead and head down. Here, I wasn't able to find another checkpoint at all, so I had to unfortunately deal with the damage, which is fine because it didn't hurt that much. Once you're on this truss, transition to the other one, and you're right at the button, but be careful that the platform itself is also lightning, so be careful. And that's a really hard one completed. A huge sigh of relief from me. Now, I would just simply fall down and continue to the next part. Normally the pumpkin bombs are back, but fortunately for me, and lately, these have been glitched and they don't work fully correctly. However, no need to worry because these only blow up in set places, so simply just chill out and prepare. But don't leave your guard down, because just like that, I lost a third of my health to one of them. These only blow up in certain spots, so you can just simply memorize where these go off and deal with them accordingly. Personally, when I get to this part though, I just simply run and get into the challenge, in which this one is the Sol floor. This one you mainly have to deal with chasing the Sols. If you fall though, there's these little parts that you can stand on that won't hurt you. Just be careful that there's always a Sol that is trying to slice you in half. Go ahead and do a header jump, and continue to the next part. It's no jump power saw time! Be very careful as you go along this part, as the saws are even faster than before. Be careful when you get to the top of this ladder, as there's already a saw that is ready to slice you in half. This next part, once you see the second saw go through, run to the other side, wait for the saws to go through again, and run to the button. Congratulations on yet another challenge. Here, we're in a great position to fall back down to the grave floor. Of the 10 challenges, in my opinion, this is by far the hardest one, so best of luck. After the second falling platform, sit and wait for the wall to slash right through and continue. Normally you will have more pumpkin cannons trying to hurt you, but fortunately, the pumpkin cannons are still glitched on this floor for me. You will need to be careful of this red laser though. The red laser is pretty hidden and will really hurt you. Here, I simply try to rush to the other side, and as you can see, some of the pumpkin bombs are working. It's the spider floor again. If you have the crystal and you still have it, you might need to use it if you mess up, because only one of these corners will teleport you back on the side I am at. I had to use mine when I messed up. However, don't be like me, fail here a whole bunch of times, then realize you haven't even pressed the morpher. You need to do that. It's left of where you spawn. Once you hit that button, the insects will slowly start rising, so be careful. Make sure to avoid these webs. If you hit them, you must drop down to the road. Stay on this left tightrope, and you'll notice that a web is very close. Jump over and just walk to transition. Jump over the web, and then, if you still have your speed, jump over to the other side, and you'll have speed and jump power in order to go ahead and finish this challenge. Congratulations when you make it past this point. The very hard parts are pretty much now ahead of you. Here you can see me falling down onto the yellow floor to stay safe. And then I will hit the teleporters in order to head back up to the 9th challenge. The totem part itself isn't that bad, but however, it's really the challenge itself that's really annoying and frustrating. Be careful of the pumpkin bombs though. Normally there are twice as more, as you can see now. Once you get to this part, I simply just run and get into the challenge. This challenge is a massive purist obby. This obby honestly isn't that difficult. It's really just a few jumps that make this really difficult. Jump onto this truss, head up, and walk down. You'll need to do a weird transition to get onto this truss, and then a wonky wrap onto this other truss. This wraparound right here is a little difficult and might screw you up. So as this one. Now it's not so purist anymore. You have 2 conveyors, and now you will need to push this push box into the button. If you're like me though, and get a little unlucky and have it get stuck, you might need to press the button and do the push box a second time. Once you press this button, you have 5 seconds to cross to the other side. Now, if you're not a dummy like me and just hold D and just walk, you won't have this happen. However, there's really no need to worry about it. As if you do get screwed like I do, if you fall in, you still have the button activated, so you can continue on to the final challenge. Congratulations on making it here. You're almost done. Go ahead and continue and do this very easy obby. Make sure to be careful of your health, the pumpkin bombs, and pretty much your surroundings and everything around you. Just when you thought it was over, unfortunately, there's more to this Citadel. There is no 10th floor challenge. Instead, you will now have to face Darklaw's on right to his face. While you're sitting here, let me explain the boss fight a little bit. There are 2 different parts to this boss. The first one, you need to press all 4 of the buttons on the corners. So as soon as you get the push box, you need to run. You have 220 seconds to do this, or else you will be instantly killed. Personally, I ignore these turrets, as they do little damage, and I never have to really worry about them anyway. The first 2 buttons are really easy, but then, Darklaw's kind of becomes a salty sport. He goes ahead and blocks the buttons, and you must go through a sequence of attacks. The first attack are these walls. When activated, these will become kill bricks. So make sure to dodge these walls. Once that is completed, the lasers will now turn to kill bricks, and you'll have a little cage around your push platform. Make sure that you stay very close to the button, as right after this, the button blocker things, whatever you want to call them, are going to open up. Be very careful, as for some reason, as you'll see, these lasers did just randomly stop. But they will move after a little bit, so be a little bit careful when this happens. You'll have to deal with these magnet men for a little bit, and then you are able to hit the 3rd button. Once it is hit, run over to the last button, where when doing so, you will deactivate the magnet men immediately and trigger the final part of this boss. Now you need to be very careful. In a few seconds, Darklaw's is about to chase you. If Darklaw's touches you, you're dead. To prevent yourself from getting killed, you need to stay around the outside of the Citadel for a little while. Once the timer starts, it's time to run. However, be careful because in a few seconds, the kill brick walls will soon activate. The walls are now activated. Make sure you keep running in a circle around the outside as far as you can. The next part is a little bit more tricky though. You will still need to push away from Dark Laws, but now the lasers are back trying to hurt you. This is really tricky and will definitely mess with you at first. Make sure you keep a good eye on your health. Because if you get to really low health like I did, I still have my crystal, so I went ahead and saved myself. Crystal went in and saved me clutchly. Soon enough, the trusses will appear. Immediately run to the middle, climb up, hit the zip line, and congratulations.
Fuck this Citadel, I'm out of here! Oh! Yeah! I have suffered way too much. Oh my god. I have done way too much to get here. Oh my god. This is better than like an end credits thing. It's finally over. I've been through a lot. I don't think anybody understands really how bad this was for me. I disconnected 4 times on the totem. The first time I disconnected was on challenge 7 or 8, I don't remember. Then I disconnected on the 5th challenge. I then disconnected again on the 9th, and then I disconnected on the final boss. And that also doesn't come to mention the 2 other attempts that I had to learn the totem itself. It's been a really long ride. I am one of the very few people left, and I think I'm one of 2, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, to have every single event item ever. I have every single one. I'm one of the few people left with Ghost Coil, and then I have every single other one. So this means a lot. It really means a lot, and this Citadel was in my way, and I was so scared that I was gonna lose it. Someone else beat it. But I was so scared that I was gonna lose that. I worked for 2 years for the items I had and all the effort I did to pull her into these events. But fortunately, I didn't lose it. I still get to keep my perfect streak, and it really hasn't hit me how crazy Ghost Coil is until now. There's only 83 owners of the Ghost Coil, and yet, even with this mid-high rem Citadel, there are over 200, probably close to 300 or 400 owners of the item that's coming. I really wish you luck if you attempt to beat the Citadel. You don't have much time left if you haven't decided or tried yet. You don't have much time. Yeah, 293. So almost 300 as of recording this. It's been a long journey. I've suffered a lot. I thought I wasn't going to be beating this, and fortunately I did, and I'm very glad in the end that I was able to do it. Good luck to everyone who tries the Citadel. I wish you the best of luck.